welcome back to Strawberry Ink. Before I begin today's story, I want to take a moment and wish everyone a happy belated Mother's Day. I hope you guys had a great one yesterday. I hope you kids were good to your moms. I hope you made her stuff. I hope you congratulated her for raising you guys. Because your mothers deserved a great day whether they woke up in a bad mood or not. Except for the ones who are normally mean. The ones who cheat. The ones who do others dirty. And the ones who give out the vibes of sluts. If you've got one of those, then go ahead and piss in her flower vase. Whether you're a mom, remembering a mom, or honoring a mother figure in your life, this day is for you. Today, we revisit a heartbreaking case that shook the country in the early 2000s, the disappearance and murder of Laci Peterson, as well as the death of her unborn son, Connor. This episode contains graphic details, so please listen with care. On Christmas Eve 2002, Laci Peterson vanished from her Modesto, California home. She was 8 months pregnant. For months, her disappearance dominated national headlines. Then, in April of the following year, a gruesome discovery was made along the shores of the San Francisco Bay. Laci's remains, decomposed and dismembered, were confirmed by the San Francisco County Medical Examiner's Office through DNA testing. It was a chilling confirmation. Their remains belonged to 2 people, Laci and her unborn son, Connor. Investigators determined that Laci had been murdered and dismembered. Tragically, the body had been expelled from her body post-mortem. This expelled body was the one of Connor, her unborn son. The cause of death for both was ruled a homicide. On May 4, 2003, Star Wars Day, and a day before Cinco de Mayo, a memorial service was held at the First Baptist Church in Modesto. Laci and Connor were buried together at the Burwood Cemetery in Escalon, California. The service was hosted by the Franklin and Downs Funeral Home. As the investigation testified, suspicion fell on Laci's husband, Scott Peterson. He became the focus of a state criminal probe led by Senior District Attorney Rick DiStasso. DiStasso presented the evidence to a grand jury, which indicted Scott on 2 murder charges, one in the first degree for killing Laci, and one in the second degree for causing the death of Connor. When the indictment was unsealed, Scott became a wanted man. Investigators used cell phone records to track his movements and believed he was attempting to flee the country. On April 18, 2003, Peterson was arrested at the Torrey Pines Golf Course in La Jolla, California. He had dyed his hair and beard, changed cars, changed phone numbers, withdrawn large sums of money, and carried camping gear, all signs pointing to an escape plan, possibly to Mexico via the San Ysidro border. Scott was first detained at the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office headquarters, then booked into the jail, the Stanislaus County Jail. His first court appearance was in front of Judge Alfred DeLucci, where he entered a not guilty plea. Peterson retained celebrity defense attorney Mark Garagos to represent him. The trial was moved to San Mateo County to avoid local bias in Modesto. Jury selection began in 2004, in March. By June 1st, a panel of 12 jurors and 6 alternates had been seated. Peterson was held at the San Mateo County Jail during these next proceedings. After months of testimony, on November 12, 2004, the jury found Scott Peterson guilty on all charges. The case entered its penalty phase. On December 13th, the jury recommended the death penalty. On March 16, 2005, Judge DeLucy upheld that recommendation. Scott Peterson was formally sentenced to death and transferred to the San Quentin State Prison to California's death row inmates. But the case did not end there. Scott Peterson appealed the conviction and his sentence. Judge DeLucy denied any post-trial relief, so Peterson turned to the higher courts. His appeal was taken up by Cliff Gardner, a court-appointed appellate attorney specializing in death penalty cases. Years later, on April 24, 2020, the California Supreme Court overturned the death sentence, citing flaws in jury selection, specifically that some jurors were improperly dismissed based on their death penalty views. In 2021, the same court ordered a lower court to review whether Peterson's conviction itself should stand due to potential juror misconduct. The focus was on juror number 7, Rachel Neese, who had failed to disclose her own domestic violence history during the jury selection. An evidentiary hearing was held in 2022, and in December, Judge Annie Christine Masuyo ruled that while the juror had made omissions, they were not enough to overturn the conviction. As of 2024, Scott Peterson remains in prison, now serving life without parole, though his legal team continues to pursue federal habeas corpus appeals, a process that could stretch on for years. He is currently incarcerated at the Mule Creek State Prison in Ione, California. The story of Laci and Connor Peterson is one of loss, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It's a somber reminder of the people behind the headlines, of a young woman and her unborn child taken too soon. On this Mother's Day, we remember Laci, her life, her dreams, and her child that she never got to meet. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Strawberry Ink. If you found today's story moving or thought-provoking, consider leaving a review or sharing the episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and have a good rest of your day.